has a REALLIFEwomen.ca website. So it's women helping women, essentially. So without further ado, I'd like to pass it on to Kulbinder Saran Caldwell. Please put your hands together.
I'm Kulbinder Saran Caldwell. I'm the Executive Director of Sikh Foundation in Canada, which is a proud sponsor tonight. I'm also write a syndicated advice column called Dear DD, which can be found on the website REALLIFEwomen.ca. I'm a storyteller, and as you know, that's a way for us to pass down our oral history from generation to generation. Tonight, I'd like to share a few stories with you about acknowledging and celebrating the men in our life who support women and who help us move closer to gender equality. I strongly believe that men are part of the solution. I was thrilled to be asked to share my story with you all tonight, but I don't think it's a unique story. I believe many of us don't like to talk about these things because it's difficult to comprehend, and we don't want to seem like our families in the dark ages. You see, I wasn't supposed to be born, but a man in my life wouldn't allow that to happen. My father, Sucha Singh Saran, who loved his girls. There are 5 girls and 1 boy in our family. 3 of my sisters and brother were born in India, and my mother, Gudbachan, was to blame for having girls. That's according to my paternal grandmother. My mother was a privileged girl who grew up in a house full of boys. She was spoiled rotten, and she was taken care of by all of her sister-in-laws and later by her daughter-in-laws. Her demands were many, and she always got her way. She told my dad, while my family was still in India, that he should leave my mother because she was having girls. He said he wouldn't, and he never did. He supported my mother and was her advocate for 64 years. And really, if he hadn't, she had nowhere else to go. Her parents had died decades before I was born. My mother didn't like his answer. And as the story goes, she cursed my dad with her Kali Ji. If you like girls so much, she said, you will have 5 of them. And he did, and I'm one of them. But shortly after my Maji said this, my dad had to leave behind a pregnant mom and family to immigrate to Canada alone. While in India, my mom mercifully gave birth to a boy, but he died of SIDS a year later. My father never saw him. My mother always says that I look like this boy Binda from the nose up. In total, my mom gave birth 9 times, with 6 surviving. All the ones who didn't make it were boys. It's funny, she often said I came into the family many times as a boy until I stayed as a girl. Maybe that was because I was to learn from my dad how girls and women should be treated. I was born and raised here in Canada. I only know what I know. I'm Generation I, where I was born here and my parents are from a different birth country, India. Here in my birthplace, I've always felt I had the same opportunities as my brother and my sisters. I didn't feel any different, but I know my parents didn't have the same privilege or freedom to think like this. They were born to traditions and customs that vary from what I'm used to. Some are good, while other traditions need to be broken to support the positive, loving future we all want for our children, girls and boys. It's by identifying the men who are our biggest supporters and will sometimes speak up on our behalf, and there are many in this room tonight. They are men who listen, really listen to what women have to say. Men who give women credit for their ideas and innovations. Men who don't stand in the way of progress and a better future for all. Men like all the fathers here tonight celebrating Lohri with their princesses. May their support and encouragement to let their daughters shine be there forever and last a lifetime, her lifetime. Through my dad's positive influence, I was full of gratitude, and I was born into a family that not only supported, but wanted to see them thrive. The communication between my father and my mother was legendary. And it was because my father considered her an equal. And they talked about everything. And always maintained a united front. My dad backed up my mom 100%. I was raised to be a strong, confident woman. And I remember my father said about finding a good man for me to marry. Find one, he said, that has sisters. Because if they want their sisters to be treated well when they go into their own homes. It's an old-fashioned notion, but it makes sense. But I also was looking for a man like my father, a good communicator, a feminist, who celebrated strong women and smart women. When I was growing up, I was asked what I wanted to have when I grew up, a boy or a girl. And everybody thought that since I was a tireless advocate of women's rights, I would say a girl. But I said a boy. But not for all the traditional reasons. My reason was purely selfish. I knew many smart, beautiful, capable women, but not a lot of men like my dad. Strong, sensitive, caring, and fiercely committed to women and supporting them. So I wanted to raise a man like him. And that is my wish for all of us, to raise good men that are worthy of all the hopes and dreams we have for our strong, independent, intelligent little girls. My dad passed away close to a year ago now. I still have friends who are grown women say to me that he always welcomed them with such love and positive energy. He used to say that all girls are like his daughters, and I believe that is the way I like to see the world, that we're all united together and need to be a part of the solution together, men and women. I like to think that my father's legacy is for my husband Scott and I to raise our son Tage to be like his daddy, and I already see glimpses of him in that, so we're on the right track. And I encourage the women here to think about who you are today and how you were influenced by the men supporters that you have had over your lifetime for you to be your authentic self. Celebrate them. They are the change makers who embrace the change that is needed for a future where you see no gender, only pride of all of the accomplishments, love, encouragement yet to come. To be the best you can be, girl or boy. Thank you.
When Kulbinder walked in tonight, she was saying, I'm not sure how I feel about sharing this story, but I know how we all feel about hearing it, right? Thank you so much, Kulbinder. Thank you for everything you've done for us, for all your continuous support, and we hope our relationship only grows. And it's a little appreciation. Thank you.